How many hand planes do you have? Starting with the biggest, this is my record number 5, which I inherited from my grandfather. I mainly use this for straightening the edge on longer pieces of timber. Then I have a Stanley number 4, which I picked up on eBay and restored. There's a restoration video for that on my channel. And this is the hand plane that I now use the most. It's just such a good all-rounder. Then I have 2 9.5 block planes, one by Record and one by Stanley. I keep the Record one on my van and the Stanley one in my workshop. These are both great. I love the design of these planes because they're just so easy to adjust, and you'll see from my videos that I use them all the time. Then I have an old Draper block plane which I never use. I can't stand this thing, it's just really awkward to adjust. And I also have 2 spoke shaves which I also restored in a recent video. Both of these I got from my grandfather too. And they all fit really nicely in this drawer. At some point in the future I'd also like to get a good quality rebate plane, but for the time being these planes meet all of my needs and I don't really have much space in my workshop for many more. What wood glue do you use? Any white or yellow PVA wood glue dries stronger than the wood itself when used correctly, even the really cheap stuff. I tend to buy either the Everbuild 502 because it's cheap on Amazon, I'll leave a link to that in the description box below, or the no nonsense stuff that you can buy at Screwfix in the UK. Both work brilliantly for me, and as long as you use them above 5 degrees Celsius, as it says on the bottle, they will perform just fine. I don't see the point of spending more money on stuff like Gorilla Wood Glue because it's no more effective and it's way overpriced. I think they just rely on marketing. Matthias Wandel did some great glue joint strength tests, and I'll link to his article in the description box below if you want to find out more. Do I have any collaborations planned with other YouTube woodworkers? Nothing planned at the moment, but I'm always open to ideas and suggestions. I'm usually just so busy, but if the right idea came along that excited me, then I'm sure I'd make time for it. Which other YouTube content creator would you like to collaborate with and why? I'm subscribed to so many different YouTube channels that I really enjoy, so I find it difficult to just nail it down to a few. But if I had to pick one, I'd probably pick somebody like John Heiss because I enjoy watching all of his channels and I'll watch all of his videos even if the content of the video doesn't particularly interest me, just because I like his approach to woodworking. I find him really funny and entertaining to watch, but I don't think for 1 minute that he would be interested in collaborating with me. I might be collaborating with a tool company on some projects in the future, but nothing is confirmed at the moment. My question is about your video editing. How do you do the sections that are sped up? The software that I use is Vegas Movie Studio Platinum for my video editing. So this is the clip at normal speed, and this clip is currently 25 seconds long. I won't play the whole thing. Now if I drag my mouse pointer over to the edge of the clip, press Control on the keyboard, click the edge of the clip and then drag it, you can see that I can speed it up or slow it down. If I speed it up to its maximum, this 25-second clip is now just 6 seconds long. Occasionally, if I'm doing something slow and long-winded, I'll set my camera onto time-lapse mode, set it to take a photo every 1 second, and the camera then compiles all of those images into a video clip and I can just drag that into the project. How do you correct colours in your video? The automatic white balance setting on my camera does do a pretty good job at getting the colours fairly accurate most of the time. So here's an example of where the camera got the white balance wrong. You can see that this clip is far too yellow in colour. So if I click on the plugins button, add the Vegas color balance plugin, click OK, and I'm going to add more blue to the clip, and now I'm going to add more green, and I'm going to take some of this red out. So now here is the before with the color correction off, and here is the after with the color correction on. Did you study woodwork or are you self-taught? I'm self-taught, but I probably learned most of what I know today from other woodworkers on YouTube. If you get so many good tools, how would you decide which to keep? I just keep the tools that I like using the most, and I don't really have space to be able to store multiple versions of the same tool, so anything that I'm not using I usually give away to friends or family. I am still storing all of my Makita cordless tools though, since Hitachi sent me their cordless range to try out, and I'm still in the process of deciding which of the tools I prefer to use, and I'll probably do a video about that at some point in the future because lots of people have been asking me. What's your favourite so far? Makita, Bosch, AEG or Hitachi? I really can't answer that one because I haven't had the opportunity to try all of the tool offerings from all of those brands. My preferences are usually tool specific rather than brand specific because there's certain things I like and dislike about all of my tools. However, I will need to make a decision as to whether I prefer the Makita or Hitachi cordless tool ranges because I don't really want to continue using two different types of battery in my workshop. If you had the space and opportunity, how big a shop would you love to have? The dream for me is to have something that's kind of double garage size, so that's roughly 5 meters by 6 meters or 16 foot by 20 foot. My current shop is 4 meters by 2.7 meters internally, and the 4 meters is okay, but the 2.7 meters really isn't. I could really do with at least 4 meters by 4 meters. The small size of my current workshop really does limit the type of projects that I can take on and also the type of machines that I can accommodate inside. Would you consider getting a lathe to be able to make a larger range of projects? I definitely want to get a lathe, but I don't have space for one in my current workshop. Hopefully one day I will have some more space. Why and how did I get started woodworking on YouTube? Why? Because I enjoyed watching loads of other woodworking channels and I felt that it would be good to make a YouTube channel with more emphasis on using reclaimed and salvaged materials, upcycling and restoration. At the time it felt like there was a bit of a niche and I felt like I could contribute something a little bit different, so that's what inspired me to start. How did I get started? Well, I actually attempted to make a YouTube video probably 3 or 4 times before I actually finished a video that I was happy to share. The thing I was really struggling with was talking to the camera. To be honest, that's still something I struggle with. But then I realized that I could narrate the videos instead, so I could just simply film what I was doing and then talk into a microphone once those videos were shot. So that's how I did the first videos on my channel. 3 years on from starting the channel, I have gained a bit of confidence talking to the camera, but it's still not something I'm comfortable with. And you wouldn't believe the amount of takes I have to do for each and every sentence. It's really quite embarrassing, and I'm glad that you guys don't get to see all of that. I know that creativity is a talent, but where do you get your inspiration from for your projects? Lots of YouTube woodworkers inspire me. I also like looking around second-hand shops at old furniture, particularly mid-century modern style furniture, which I really take inspiration from. I also keep a list of projects that I want to work on my phone, and that list just gets longer and longer. I doubt I will ever be able to get to the bottom of it. And whenever I don't have any paid work or commissions on the go, I'll basically look through that list and whatever project excites me the most is what I do next. I would like to know how you decided to do this channel full-time and give up your paid employment. What was your thought process behind it, and what advice would you give for others to pursue a career in this hobby? So I'm still doing my day job Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. In terms of advice for starting a business, I'd definitely say try and understand how tax returns work, or get somebody to do it on your behalf. That's probably been the biggest struggle for me since starting my business, and it's just something that I dread doing every year. If you're making things to sell, try and make things in batches, because if you can make 5 or 6 of the same item at once, that's the most efficient use of your time, which means you can price projects for less money and hopefully achieve more sales. Also, don't undersell yourself. Try to price your work based on the amount of hours or your day rate for the work that you've put into the project. That's something else I struggle with, being able to put a price on something that is an amount that somebody's prepared to pay, but also pays for your time that you've got invested into the project. How do you price a commission? Day rate plus material or by the hour? I use a day rate. Most projects take me 1.5 to 3 days, although if it's a really small project that I can do in half a day, then I'll just half my day rate. I make sure that my day rate is enough to cover the 20% that the taxman will take away from me at the end of the tax year. I'll multiply my day rate by the number of days I think it will take to make. Then I'll add on to that the cost of materials, fittings and finishes. If I need to travel or deliver the item, then I'll factor in the cost of fuel. If it's a project that I think might turn out to be troublesome in some way, perhaps the customer hasn't been entirely clear on what they want and they might change their mind, then I will factor in perhaps a contingency of 10% just to make sure that my time is covered. What was your goal when you started this channel, and what is your future goal? The main aim of the channel when I started was to try and inspire people to make use of materials and furniture items that get discarded. My goal at the moment is to try and achieve 100,000 subscribers for the channel, because I really want that YouTube play button plaque. I'd also like to make a full-time career out of woodworking and video content creation, as I just think that would improve my quality of life. What is the wood that you hate the most, and reasons why? Can I pick MDF? I know it's not really wood, it's more of a composite material, but I hate that stuff. Are there any plans for ragnbonebrown live videos? Not at the moment, but it's something that I might consider doing in the future. That's it for now. Thanks to everyone who took the time to ask me a question. If you asked a question and I didn't answer it in this video, that probably means I've already answered the question in my first Q&A, which was put out around a couple of years ago. So I'll link to that in the description box below if you want to check that out. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And don't forget you can support my channel on Patreon if you feel inclined to do so. Thank you for watching.